No matter what you say or do, no matter how uncontroversial your opinion is, there will always be someone who disagrees with you and tries to put you down. Why? It's mostly because of their own insecurities. They're afraid of or insecure about something about them that they don't want anyone to have attention on them. So they'll push their self hatred and self loathing onto other people, and they'll try and take the attention off of them and push it onto you by criticizing you, pointing out your flaws, pointing out how you're doing everything wrong and you're to blame for all these problems. And to that I say, fiddlesticks. Best word I could think of, I don't know. I think there is no point thinking about stuff you can't control. Now, that doesn't stop me from doing it because I'm a chronic overthinker. I've had many situations in my life where I'm faced with a challenge and I will literally stay awake at night thinking about the thousands of possibilities, the thousands of outcomes, and then 99% of the time, or 99.999% of the time, it's never as bad as I thought it was going to be. But by dwelling on things that I couldn't control, I just became a bit lost. I was too concerned with what other people thought of me, of certain outcomes that I had no chance of influencing. And it does beg the question, should we even bother thinking about these things? Like, for example, conflicts on the other side of the world. I understand they're very sad, devastating, but I can't control that in any way. I can't really stop that conflict in any way. I can maybe donate to some charities to have a slight impact in helping them, but overall, I can't do anything to stop it. And dwelling on it and becoming depressed by all these horrible things would not benefit me in any way and would not benefit anyone else in any way. So focusing on what I can control in my life, on my outlook on life, on the people I associate with, is much more valuable and a much better use of your time than dwelling on insignificant things, even minuscule things like what people think of you, because you can't control what people think of you. Of course, you can control your actions, which obviously will give a certain perception of people. Like, if you're a complete arsehole, people are going to treat you like a complete arsehole and think you're a complete arsehole. That's just logical. But you could genuinely just be a great individual and you may express your opinion about certain things, yet people are going to push back against that and they're going to go, no, you're wrong. I think this, and this is much more accepting, this is much more tolerant, ironically, and this is this and this is that. I don't care, to be honest. There probably was a time when I was a young teen when all I could think about was the perception other people had about me. I was constantly worried about my appearance, about what people said about me behind my back, and now I just do not care at all. Of course, when these situations strike you and you find out someone's been talking about you or information's being spread or whatever, you might have the slight thought of, oh no, why are people saying this about me? What have I done? Da, da, da. But as long as you know who you are, as long as you're in control of your own actions, and you try to be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be, who cares what anyone else thinks? Like, why should other people's insecurities, other people's ways of living impact you having the best life possible? It makes no logical sense. There were certain things that happened to me in the past where I started self-improvement, and of course people were saying, oh, you've changed, you're a different person now. Which, yes, of course I've changed. That's what being a human being is. No person is the same person from when they ended high school, started college, became an adult. No one is the same. I'd argue that in your teen years is when you have the most change, not just physically, but obviously psychologically. From when you're 13 to 19, You are a completely different individual. But yet you'll still have people criticizing you because they want you to always stay the same because it's comfortable. They don't like change around them. Even if it's for your own benefit, they don't want you to change. They want you to stay this certain way. But I'm not going to do that. And I'm so happy that my past self just had this realization of living on his own terms and truly deciding that the opinions of others aren't really that important. Of course, my close friends, my close family, if I'm doing something genuinely wrong and they call me out on it when I'm oblivious to it and I'm just speaking out my arse, I'm very grateful for that. Those are the opinions that I cherish, and I appreciate the constructive criticism. But if it's just something like I speak my opinion about, I don't know, some random topic, politics, that's all a mess in itself. But let's say I say certain opinion that could be perceived as controversial, and someone I knew is like, "Oh, what? You can't say that. Well, that's offensive." Okay, we can have a debate about it, we can have a civil discussion, but I'm not going to engage with you if all you're going to say is you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. Because I'm never going to tell another person they're wrong, because they have their own preconceived notions. If I had the same upbringing as them, if I had searched the same things, had the same hobbies, had the same passions, I'd probably think the same as them. So I'm not going to sit here and say you're wrong. But sadly, we live in a world where being diplomatic is slowly becoming less common. And we are very quick to tell people they're wrong and blame other people for our shortcomings. And it's a real shame. But ultimately, we can't control this. We can try to make an impact to the people around you, trying to convey our points. But you can only be yourself. And if people try to change you, if the people around you are influencing your behaviors and trying to criticize you, you've got to stay strong. You've got to stick to your guns. Of course, you can obviously change your opinion and become a completely different person, but if you have a moral that you want to stick to, if people are trying to encourage you to do stuff that you fundamentally disagree with, I think you know what you need to do. You've got to stay strong. And it is so freeing to realize that you are just, I've said it before, you are the captain of your fate, right? Realizing that there's a lot of things that you can control in your life. You may seem, I don't know who you are, who I'm talking to at this point in time, but you might feel like you have no control over your life. You might feel that God, the universe, whoever, has dealt you a bad hand in life and everything's not going your way. But I truly believe that no matter how bad your situation, you have the power to turn things around. You have the ability to take your life, seize your life, grab it by the hand, and lead it to victory. I believe you can do that. And no matter what other people say, no matter what other people think of you, you are in control of your life. 24/7, you are in control. You have your own brain, your own thoughts. You can do whatever you like. So do it well. Make sure you choose your friends wisely. Make sure you select your actions wisely. And just ultimately, try to make the world a better place. Even if it's just as simple as having a smile when you walk past someone in the street. That makes this confusing life a little bit brighter. But anyway, that was again another deep one. I just want to say thank you as well for the support on the recent videos. It's been really just crazy overwhelming. I cannot thank you enough for the support I've been getting. And if you've liked this video, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, smash that notification bell as they say, and share it with your friends if you think someone would find this useful. I will, as always, see you in the next one. Have a fantastic day, God bless, and as always, take very good care of yourself.